Eddie Flexen here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by DAZN EVP Joe Markowski. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Great day. British summertime in its finest, and yeah, very proud to be representing the business on such an exciting day for us and for Matchroom.
How does it feel? Because this is a deal that you've known about for a long time. It's even been announced before we came here, but this makes it all feel real somehow.
Yeah, look, I mean, obviously being at the scene of the future crime with Fight Camp definitely does make it feel real. It's something we've been talking about behind the sort of four walls of our offices for the last 6 months. Something we've been, gradually getting more and more excited about as we've seen the reception we've had from the UK fight fans since we made a version of the service available in December. So yeah, coming here, seeing you guys in person, which obviously has been the case for a while, hearing how excited people are about it, and watching the social comments and feedback we've seen over the last 10 days or 2 weeks or so since we announced the deal, definitely makes it feel real. And now it's all about, we've made the glitzy announcement, we've done the sort of big press conference stuff. It's about now focusing on execution, making sure we're delivering what we promised we'd deliver, which is high quality fight cards, fights that fans want to see, a regular schedule of live events, a brilliant broadcast production team which we'll announce later this week, and then consistent month to month, week to week value for British fight fans. And that's the fun stuff's now done. We can get back to work, and something that I'm very much looking forward to with my team in the next few days.
Something that Eddie Hearn's cited a number of times is the willingness of DAZN to kind of cede control over the shoulder programming, something Sky apparently weren't willing to do. How did you kind of come to terms with that? Was there any doubt about subbing that out to your partner rather than controlling it yourselves?
I think ceding control is not quite how I'd look at it. I think with Matchroom Sport as a business, obviously looking to grow their business, they had an opportunity to grow their business as they grew their business, if that makes sense. So in doing this deal, they had an opportunity to add a new division to their company in Matchroom Media. The production, the quality of production and the talent we use and how we position the broadcast is something that we, myself, Frank, our team, Eddie, speak about week in, week out. So it wasn't really a ceding control, it's more about a collaboration. We are respectful hugely of the passion that Eddie and Katie Hearn in particular have for live production and the live shows, something that we're very willing to support. They'll be doing that in close collaboration with us and our broadcast team. In fact, we're spending half of tomorrow actually speaking about the specifics of the Fight Camp sort of production. So we look forward to unveiling that work on July the 31st, August 7th and August the 14th.
We don't hear much about Katie Hearn. She's very much out of the limelight, whereas Eddie's the front and centre, the face of the company. But just tell us how important she was to this deal, especially with her TV expertise.
Yeah, hugely. And Katie's a very, very talented broadcast executive, someone we're very, very happy to be working with. If you can imagine what it must be like growing up with Eddie Hearn as a sibling, I have great sympathy for him.
And Barry as a dad.
Barry's dad's great. I mean, Eddie would be a challenge as a sibling. I've got a challenging sister, so I have some sympathy for Katie. But jokes aside, someone that, as you say, is an expert behind the scenes in doing what she does, and she'll be doing that obviously now exclusively for DAZN, whilst her brother exclusively promotes for DAZN. So something that we're, our experience of working with the Hearn family has always been positive over 10-15 years, and nothing to say that experience with Katie going forward won't be any dissimilar.
It might be hard to sum up in a few answers, but how different or in what ways will the DAZN presentation of the Matchroom events differ from what we've grown used to on Sky over the past however many years it's been?
I think we've got the brief on the production from our perspective is twofold. It's one, deliver a talent team and an experience that satisfies the hardcore fans. British fight fans are extremely passionate about their product, their presentation. As Eddie said a number of times last week, they are almost in some cases as passionate about that as they are about the matchmaking and the fights. So making sure that very, very passionate group of fans are given what they want and are satisfied with that, and giving them less and less reason to have a pop at us on Twitter, I think is the first thing. So satisfying those guys, they are the core of this deal, they are why we are here. I think thinking longer term and thinking more strategically, there's obviously a huge growth opportunity around UK boxing. What Matchroom Boxing have done with Sky Sports, with the support of the fighters, obviously over the last decade, is quite remarkable. It's taken boxing from leisure centres to Wembley Stadium. We're now back in a back garden, but there's obviously reasons behind that. So we've got a huge opportunity, I think, to continue that momentum. I'll doff my cap to Sky Sports and the role that they've played in that. I think everyone at that organisation's done an amazing job with Eddie and vice versa in growing the sport together. We see further upside there and further growth potential. So our talent team and our production needs to also reach that new breed of boxing fan. So it's a twofold brief. It's satisfy the hardcores, give them a credible experience with Hall of Fame broadcasters and industry legends. You'll see a massive element of that announced on Friday. And I think from the other side, it's about building a talent team and a production plan that reaches new audiences and takes boxing into new waters.
There's been some scepticism about growing boxing and growing DAZN as a result in the UK without having another sport or another major event on the DAZN platform over here. How do you kind of counter that? What can you do to mitigate that?
Well, I think the common misconception of DAZN in the UK, because Eddie is such a regular spokesperson for our business here, and frankly such a loudmouth, that we're a boxing business. I've said that to you before. Yeah. We're not a boxing business, we're a sports broadcasting business with a tremendous investment and a passion for boxing. If you look at our businesses in Germany, in Italy, in Japan, in Canada, in Spain, we are a multi-sport broadcaster. We are in some of those markets already the top sports broadcaster full stop, and a massive part of our business is football, soccer. So I think longer term we make no apologies for admitting that our ambitions transcend beyond boxing. That won't dilute our investment in boxing, it won't take our eye off the ball in boxing, and all of those opportunities will come. That said, for the moment, what we've got and what we know we've got stepping into the UK is a premium set of broadcast rights that allow us to reach a very large group of people. We wouldn't be making this investment as confidently as we are without having seen how the UK sporting public have responded to our entry with the global platform 6 months ago. That was the last proof point we needed to step in with this deal. So the content we've got already is enough to make us very, very confident stepping into the UK. And down the line, there'll be plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, to expand that content offer. And when those opportunities come up, we'll obviously assess them. But the commitment is there for us to be a multi-sport broadcast down the line, no doubt.
Now, I'm a hardcore boxing fan as well as working in the industry. I love it. I've got DAZN already, and when it goes up in price, inevitably I'll still retain it.
Good to hear.
If I'm a casual sports fan, more of a football fan, but I tune in for the big fights, how will I become aware of DAZN? Where will my touch points be?
It's a good question. I think some of the criticism and speculation last week is, boxing stepping off Sky Sports, the established sort of giant that is Sky Sports and Sky Sports News. It is a valid challenge. If you look at, this is the best way I think to answer it, if you look at the biggest fights in the UK this year, Canelo Saunders is right up there. If not the biggest fight of the year, definitely top 3. That was a pure DAZN promotion before we've even entered the UK with Matchroom, right? And that did, on DAZN, massive numbers at 5 in the morning, a relatively antisocial UK time zone. So our ability to generate audiences is already proven to be pretty solid. Our marketing tactics will be different to Sky Sports, obviously. We've got content that we use in different ways. Would you have seen a traditional linear pay TV broadcaster produce a documentary like Canelo, the greatest athlete you've never seen, and give that to another broadcaster in the BBC at prime time? No, you wouldn't. That is us acknowledging that we need to do different things to reach audiences in the UK. Our choice of talent, our choice of the influencers we work with in that talent team, our distribution of content, our use of social media, on our media spend, our marketing spend, all of which will be added up to make what I think will be a very compelling marketing plan, and one that will help us reach new audiences. We've got evidence of that already. We're not seeing 25%, 30%, 40% of the audiences we would have seen on Sky for our major events. We're already delivering equivalent, if not bigger, numbers. So that makes me and the business very confident in our marketing tactics. We're going to be different. Yes, we're a different kind of business. We're a digital streaming giant. We're not an old school linear pay TV broadcaster. But those tactics are effective, and they're increasingly effective over the last sort of 5 years since we launched the business.
How much of an input will you guys at DAZN have on the actual structure of cards, like the matchmaking itself, who's going to be the headliner, who you're going to promote, who the faces are of DAZN boxing?
A major seat at the table. We have a committee that manages the relationship. I sit on that with a couple of other DAZN people, with Eddie and Frank and Barry, and we've got an active seat at the table and a vocal voice in those conversations. We're good at managing our promotional partners. I think sometimes Eddie and Frank probably roll their eyes at our involvement and would like us to be a bit less involved, but ultimately it's about driving quality and driving value for our investment and driving value to fight fans. And broadly, it's not a difficult relationship because we all share a vision on what we want to deliver. We share a vision, for example, on reducing the number of pay-per-view shows and to delivering fights that would usually be pay-per-view behind a much lower cost, flexible monthly price point. So it's a very, very healthy relationship. It's one that is on both sides. We're not afraid to share direct opinions with each other. We're very data-led. They've obviously got great experience. So in partnership, it's a very, very strong working relationship.
And are there any particular fights, just aside from your role at DAZN, but just as a fight fan, any particular fights that grab you from the opening fight camp series?
There's a few. I love Josh Buatsi. He obviously worked with us on broadcast previously. I think he's a fantastic talent and a great ambassador for the sport. I think Natasha Jonas also fighting in fight camp's great. I think our commitment to women's sport and women's boxing is something that we are tremendously passionate about, and not just because it's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do, but from our perspective it's the right thing to do because it's good business. There's huge upside in women's boxing. I think Eddie's commitment to it is one of the few promoters who embraces women's boxing is a part of our happiness and our comfort with the relationship. It's something we see huge upside in, so that's definitely a fight I'm looking forward to. And I think the domestic world championship bout in week 2 and with Kid Galahad is something that we're also very excited about. But there's value all the way through. Conor Benn, a huge draw, someone that we're tremendously excited to have on the platform, already sort of making a name for himself, and the conversation about him being his father's son is sort of finishing now because he's established himself in his own right. So weeks 1, 2 and 3 are very, very strong, and for £1.99, €1.99, there's not many complaints, I don't think.
Brilliant. Joe, really appreciate your time and best of luck with the venture.
Appreciate it. Speak soon.
Cheers.